Hey everybody, so today I'm going to talk to you about some new emerging technology that I think is personally really cool and has a lot of uses that I was unaware of. Aside from recreational, virtual reality has some amazing uses, such as like teaching people how to do skills that they would otherwise not be able to learn without messing it up, which I'll get into later. It helps with therapy and a bunch of other things. But first off, basically what virtual reality is a head-mounted device that provides a virtual reality, as the name implies. So the most common types of virtual reality display technology that's liquid crystal display, like LCD, which is basically the same thing as your phone. It's considered as an important technology, giving scope for a great leap for adverse fields. VR is sometimes referred to as immersive multimedia, and it's a computer simulated environment in place that can stimulate physical presence in places in the real world or imagined worlds. It can be used in classrooms, as I said, to enhance student learning and engagement, and it can also transform the way that educational content is delivered. It works on the premise of creating a virtual world, real or imagined, and allows the user to interact with it. So basically what happens is, for example, my boyfriend is a sheet metal worker, and this year his school that the union provides just got a virtual reality welder, which I'll show you a little bit of right now. But it's super cool because he can go in and learn how to weld perfectly because it has the exact position you need to be in. It has the speed that you need to stay on and everything like that. So he can go in and learn how to weld without actually messing up anything or creating a hazard or something like that, because welding is obviously somewhat dangerous. Another great use for virtual reality that I didn't even think of is therapy. So for someone who has anxiety or phobias or depression, they can actually be put into this reality and be in a safe place and learn to overcome their fears and work through certain things in order to overcome those certain ailments, which I think is super cool, and I didn't ever think of that before. So with virtual reality, there's little to no risk. You can practice in a safe and controlled environment, and it can be done remotely, so it saves time and money because you don't have to bring people in to train them on specific equipment. Another interesting thing is it does improve retention and recall, so that's super interesting, and it simplifies complex problems and situations such as phobias, I would assume. One thing that I do think is it can be weird to come in and out of those realities. I watched recently my brother, his friend, and my boyfriend all do VR at this little recreational place, and they were doing it for 30 minutes, and afterwards they were just completely out of it, and it was super weird to watch them switch from virtual reality to normal reality, I guess you would say. So, yeah, it's interesting to think about. I see how it would take some risks away from certain situations, but I think also we might need to be careful and watch out for other risks in impairment and stuff like that after doing VR. Scary.
There's a rope. And Step off again. Oh. That feels weird.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That being said, I think that there's a lot possible with this technology. For example, I talked about, it could be a new way to watch movies, which would be super interesting. I actually did one at Dave & Buster's where you were inside, what's it called? Jurassic Park, and you're in a cart going around, there's dinosaurs coming up to you and stuff, and that was really trippy. I can't imagine if I were to watch a movie that way, like the kinds of experiences that I would have. I think it would be super interesting to experience things firsthand, and it might give people a more like worldly sense of understanding if they were to experience firsthand like some of the scenarios that go on in movies rather than just watching it. I think that it would be cool that you could, like, if you could, like, learn how to dance. I know they do have some like that, and work out properly. If I were to use VR, I think some creative ways that I would do it, because I am a media arts major, I think something super interesting would be to have a VR that's a camera, so you can go around and learn how to take different angles and shots and like see what looks good, mess with the settings on VR without having to ruin the settings on your own camera. Only because sometimes, I don't know, I mess with something and then I don't know how to get back. So I think that would be really cool, and you could just learn like the angles and shots that look best, and thought that would be really cool. Another thing that I would want to use VR for that I think would be super cool is if they could find a way to teach you how to play instruments, so like you could get the feel for it, and like basically just have it be like a way to learn to play instruments, or like I said before, I would like to use it to like work out and learn proper form and stuff. I mean, I know you can get teachers for this, but I think maybe a lot of people would be willing to use VR over instructors only because it could be a cheaper version or just a more like personal thing, because sometimes it's hard to go out and just learn right off the bat. Yeah, I just think that it would be a really cool way to learn like life skills like archery. Again, I don't know how all of that would look inside of VR, but I think that those are some creative ways that it could be used, certain like knife skills, maybe like gun safety courses could be done in virtual reality. Once again, it's not the same as reality, but it is a good way to kind of teach people without the added risk of these harmful tools such as welding and guns and other things like that. So virtual reality is an amazing technology that really does put you into a whole different world, and I think it's something to definitely keep an eye on as it progresses. What's up, guys? I'm going to be talking to you today a little bit about some new emerging technology that I think is super cool and has a lot of... No, I'm trying to do a video. Are you kidding me? Dude. Sit. Good dog. No. Hey everybody, I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about some new emerging technology that I think is super cool and has a lot more uses than I would have ever imagined. So, I'm sure... Tracy! Oh my god!